Welcome to VTT Studio. Today our guest is research professor Merja Penttilä of the VTT Technical Research Center of Finland. She's an expert in biotechnology and how living organisms can be used in industrial processes, and particularly how microbes can be used to produce chemicals and materials in a sustainable way. Great to have you with us today, Merja.
Yeah, thank you.
Why do we need microbes to produce chemicals and materials?
So microbes can be considered like living factories. So the chemistry which cells has or microbes have is very versatile, and we can now engineer this chemistry to produce the compounds which we want to, the chemical compounds, the materials which we need, and in principle we can think about producing any chemical which is today produced from oil, from fossil resources, with biotechnology, with living microbes, living microbial factories from renewable resources.
Which types of materials can be produced by microbes?
We can, for instance, produce disposable bioplastics. So we can produce with microbes lactic acid. And this lactic acid can be then polymerized into a bioplastic, the real material. And we can, for instance, make disposable cups out of this material, PLA. Similarly, we can produce glycolic acid. And this actually, when that is polymerized, it gives even better properties to the material. So it can be used in packaging materials, for instance, as a barrier, because it doesn't let oxygen or moisture to go through. And this material can be produced by microbes. We can also produce with microbes materials which are naturally produced by living organisms, and one of these is silk. As we know that spiders can make sort of spider webs, or silkworms can make silk. So now we can start to produce this silk in actually microbial systems like in normal baker's yeast. So we do not need to collect the silk from silkworm cultures, we can produce it with microbes. And silk is, of course, a very nice material. It's very strong, but it's actually stronger than steel, but it's very light. And we can use it for clothing or for some other purposes.
So we don't actually need to have spiders and silkworms in the factories?
No, we just take the genes, put them into yeast, and the yeast is producing the silk.
What's VTT's solution to this? Are there any particular challenges that must be overcome?
So we are using gene technology. It's called metabolic engineering, which means that we are engineering the chemistry of the cells. And this we have been using tens and tens of years, also with Finnish and foreign industries, to make their biotechnical processes. But the challenges have been that engineering biology, doing metabolic engineering of the cells, of the microbes, is very time-consuming, and also then it becomes quite expensive, and it has been quite a lot of trial and error. So now then, there is a sort of new wave of biotechnology, which is called synthetic biology. And there we can start to use design, computer-aided design of how we build the organisms. We can also use new technologies how to quickly modify the organisms, the genes of the organisms, and consequently the chemistry of the organisms. And we can also use automation and robotics to screen a large number of different microbes we have been making, to select from those the best ones for the process. And this makes engineering of microbes for production of chemicals and materials, let's say tenfold or even faster than it used to be, let's say 5-10 years ago. So we have been building a sort of very nice industrial biotechnology platform where we have the computational tools, the computer programs to design the organisms, and then the automation and robotics to select the best ones. And then when we have these organisms, we can then put them into so-called bioreactors where we cultivate and study their properties. And then if they are fine, we can even go to piloting, to a larger scale production. So at VTT we have a platform from synthetic biology to piloting of the process. And also now with the new technologies, we can, because things are now much more faster, so we can think about taking any biological knowledge, functionalities in the nature. We can take the genes and put them into our production organisms. So we can start using the biodiversity in the nature for the purpose of producing the chemicals and the materials we need.
What about using various kinds of waste in the future?
Different waste fractions are actually very well suited for biotechnology because microbes can use waste as raw material in the process when they make the chemical compounds or the materials. We can use, for instance, municipal waste, packaging waste, sawdust, straw. The carbohydrates which are present in these fractions as raw material in biotechnical production. So in this way, we can also save a lot of our natural resources, like forest resources, if we first use the waste materials for reproduction of making something valuable out of the waste. So the possibility that we grow microbes in closed systems, factories, is very much aligned with saving the nature and saving our planet.
Thank you, Merja. And we look forward to seeing what kind of products can be developed with the help of microbes.